Hey, everybody, this is Jeff Linam with the Vestry. Um, yeah, as I said in my earlier video, we're kind of changing this up for the congregational meeting rather than having the Vestry members, talk about what's going on in the church. We wanted to do some short interviews with folks, and I have Cody Dotson here. And I'm going to be asking some questions about the church plant, which I'm sure many of you of our church family is interested in how that's going. And so Cody, thank you for joining today.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Can you give us like a very brief kind of update on what's been happening the last couple months and just some kind of the highlights?
Yeah, definitely. So we started kind of earlier this year, still meeting on Zoom. We were going through a church planting book called Planting Missional Churches, and our discussion was just around what does it mean to be a church on mission. And thankfully, that was a great time and we had some wonderful conversations, but it was over Zoom and we're very happy finally to be meeting in person. A couple of the issues towards that was our apartment was small, our group was growing, which is very exciting. So I had been continuing to kind of network with other pastors in the area, and providentially through a connection with actually my father, who was leading a kind of a marriage retreat. Some pastors from Grace Church here in North Park had sent some pastors there with some of their lay leaders, and they connected, and my father connected me to them, and we were able to work out some space, which was great. There's a parking lot, which is wonderful, and we're able to meet in person on Thursday nights, which has been a lot of fun.
Awesome. So so I know that the name of the church is St. Clair. Um, can you give a little background on that or some of the other things that, yeah.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So that's kind of our unofficial name, our group. That's okay though. We're hoping that will be accepted. There's some processes we'll have to go through, but that's what the group is calling it. And essentially, why is I think the life and story of Saint Clair is very moving and has helped at least me in guiding me to see what the vision is, what God is doing in this group. There's a story, kind of background. St. Clair was the first woman to follow St. Francis. And, so you have this noble woman, very similar to Francis, giving up all of her royal titles in order to go and to serve the Lord, just forsaking everything to follow Jesus and to live a life like Christ. And she's the first woman to write her own order, and we have some very smart and bright women in our group, and I wanted to honor that, to see that what the Lord was doing in our group. But then also there's this wonderful story of I wouldn't say wonderful. It was wonderful what God did, but a group of assassins were coming to just raid their abbey, and St. Clair was sick in bed, and she was able to get up and to get everyone into the chapel and to pray before the altar. And as they were praying, light shone from the host that was on the altar, and the voice of Jesus said, I will always be with you. And as we're going out into North Park, we want the light of Jesus to shine in this community, and for it to be obvious that Jesus is present with us too, as we are gathering together to worship him in this place, to be a light and to be a witness to those in our neighborhood. So that's kind of why we're unofficially calling it right now St. Clair's.
Okay, unofficial. That's a beautiful story. Thank you, Cody. So I know that Holy Spirit has set some different guidelines or um, to meet as far as financial goals and other things as um, to make, I guess, to provide some boundaries around when the church plant should begin and those sorts of things. Do you have any updates that you want to share as far as how that process is going?
Yeah, so we are continuing uh, to fundraise. First off, we've just reached our first goal of 25%, which is really exciting. But we can continue to do that. We are continuing to gather people. Right now, we have in total 16 people with 14 adults. 2 of those are my kids, but we're at 16. Our goal is probably closer to 30. We are kind of also in process of kind of developing a launch schedule, and that will be coming out soon. We'll have a formal church plant launch document to come out, and that will have kind of our mission and our vision as well as our timeline, and that will be available. If anyone's interested, I'd be happy to send that over. But we're very excited for what God is doing in this group and the people He's bringing, both from inside and outside the church as well. And would love just continued prayers as we are moving towards hopefully planting a church in North Park.
Great. Well, Cody, thank you so much for sharing and giving us an update on where things stand. I know we're all praying and in anticipation of what God will do. So thank you so much for giving us a brief update.
Great. Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Thanks, Cody.
Yep.
Oh.